Today we'll be learning about tropisms and Turgor pressure. Please read the essential questions and answer 1 and 2. The things we'll be learning about today is in what ways do plants respond to stimuli? What are 4 different types of tropisms? And how does Turgor pressure affect a plant? So our stimulus. A stimulus is a change in the internal or external environment. And for plants, some of the examples of stimuli could be light or gravity, touch or water, chemicals, temperature, sound, and electricity. A response is the change in the organism because of the change in the environment. So in plants, they will bend towards light. The stimuli of gravity, the roots will grow down. Even if you flip the plant, the roots will then turn and grow down. Touch, some plants respond to touch. And for water, roots will grow toward the water. So take a look at the picture on the right and tell me which response is shown in that image. So there's stimulus and response not only in plants but also in humans. So you are going to come up with 4 different types of responses, stimuli, responses, and internal, external. For example, in the top line, the stimulus is you touch the hot iron. The response is you jerk your hand away. Is that internal or external? Well, that's external because you're touching something. It's not happening inside of you. Another stimuli may be drinking water too fast. Your response may be hiccuping, and that would be an internal response. So you're going to fill these in with ideas of stimuli, response, and whether or not they're internal or external. Tropisms is a turning or all or part of an organism in particular direction in response to a stimulus. So phototropism is response to light. Geotropism is a response to gravity. Hydrotropism is a response to water, and thigmotropism is a response to touch. So here in this first slide, you can see that the plant has actually turned itself so that it's getting as much light as possible. Here you can see this arrow indicates that these roots are growing down. Here, this is a some type of vine that has wrapped itself around a structure. And here you can see there's a little water on the bottom, and look how the roots, especially this main root, has grown out so that it is getting water. Some other examples of tropism is chemotropism, thermotropism, sonotropism, and electrotropism. So if you take a look at the pictures on the right, you're going to figure out which one illustrates chemotropism. So if you look here, this is elements that are in the soil, and you can see that the roots have grown farther to get magnesium, potassium, and sodium. So when it asks you which one illustrates chemotropism, you can see right here, it's this one. So there's negative and positive tropism. Positive tropism is when the organism is moving toward the stimulus, such as a plant growing toward a light. Negative tropism is it moves away from the stimulus. So when we're talking about gravity, and we've already discussed that the roots will grow down toward the gravity, the plant itself will grow up away from gravity, and then that is considered a negative tropism. So let's get a little deeper into some of the different tropisms. So let's start with phototropism. So the organisms respond to light as a stimulus. As we know, plants need light to do photosynthesis. So it is going to try to get as much light as possible. In plants, there's a hormone called auxin, and that plays a part in elongating the cells on the dark side of the plant. So the plant that's away, a part of the plant that's away from the light. And what this does is causes the plant to bend in the direction of the light because the cells on the opposite side are getting longer. And it also allows more cells to reach the light so that more photosynthesis can happen. In a botany experiment, a light source is placed below a plant. Over a 6-week period, the plant's growth is observed and recorded. If the plant is healthy, what observations might you see here? Now, you need to find the definition of phototropism here and drag it here. Geotropism. So that is where organisms are responding to gravity as a stimulus. It's also called gravitropism. In plants, it causes the roots to grow toward the earth center and the stem to grow away from the earth center. Find the definition for geotropism here and place it here. Hydrotropism. That's the organism's response to water or moisture as a stimulus. If it's positive, it'll grow toward the water. If it's negative, it'll grow away from the water. And the plant is able to sense this, and it sends signals to elongate part of the root. And you can see here that this root is growing toward the water. And it's not as influential as geotropism. Find the definition for hydrotropism here and drag it here. Thigmotropism. So this is where organisms are responding to touch as a stimulus. And the plant will move or change its orientation as a result of touch. So we see here sweet pea has wrapped its tendrils around an object to grow. Or ivy will cling its roots to grow up trees. So that's thigmotropism. Find the definition for that here. Please put it here. Now, Turgor pressure. So that is the pressure that water-filled vacuoles, you should remember vacuoles from when we studied cells, exert on the cytoplasm and the elastic cell wall in a plant. And you can remember that plant cells have cell walls, cytoplasm, and vacuoles. So if we look here, what do you think is happening to the cell? So in A, we can see that water is leaving the cell. In B, water is coming into the cell and leaving the cell. And in C, we have water coming into the cell. And you can see the size of the vacuole in A, B, and C. So you can pull this box and see, check your answers for the slide before. This is called osmosis, the moving of water in and out of plant cells. Hypertonic, so that's water moves out and the plant cells become more concave. Hyper means low. I know that sounds like it means high, but hyper means low. So this allows space between the cells, and that's why we get plants that wilt. Hypotonic means the water is moving into the plant cells and the cells become rectangular shaped. And it takes up all the spaces in between the cells and the plant becomes rigid. And you can see here how this plant is standing tall because the cells are full of water. So you are going to pull the correct label over here and then the correct picture over here. Think about it. Oftentimes when a plant dies, the caretaker may claim they have a black thumb because they can't keep plants alive. They make sure the plants get light and water and are insect-free, but plants don't survive. What might be the problem? So take a look at these pictures and see if you can decide what might be the problem and why these plants aren't staying alive. So how does water leave a plant? Plants have pores in their leaves called stomata, and oxygen and water exit the plant through the stomata. There's guard cells that are at the stomata that open and close them. So it controls the amount of water leaving. And you can see here the guard cells. Water evaporating from the plant is called transpiration. Now you're going to pull the correct definition off whichever side, and underneath there you'll see a number. There you will put the code in order from top to bottom. Make sure you answer these 3 questions thoroughly And are there any other essential questions you need help to understand? If you have any questions, let me know, and have a great day.